So Michelle, I'm sure a lot of people, honestly, even I can say that I've had a lot of like passion projects where you kind of start a thought, maybe you don't finish it or maybe you don't follow through. But like you were just saying, what once was the Mawanda Project, which just started as an idea or, a trip to Uganda and thinking to yourself like, oh, this would be something kind of cool if it really happened, and you brought that to life. But not everyone turns that into a long-term commitment. So what helped you move from this really matters to me to actually building something sustainable for the Mawanda Project?
Yeah, I think it was little by little.
Okay.
Like one step at a time. It is funny because Pastor Dan in Uganda, the way he says it is slowly by slowly. In Uganda, like Pastor Dan talks very slow. And so it's very fitting for him. Slowly by slowly. But
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it is just like one step at a time.
Yeah.
I remember when I was starting out, it was like, okay, like, what do I need? The first thing I did was a blog. It was just like this Tumblr blog about like the heart behind the project. And I think part of that was just like, okay, like, what am I doing? Like, let's figure it out. Let's process it through writing this blog.
It's an online diary.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
that.
And then the second thing that I like knew I kind of needed was a website. Like, okay, it needs to look like it's legit and there to be a landing page for someone's like, hey, I am interested in donating. What am I going to do? It's like, okay, like I need a place for that. And so I just looked it up online of like how to build a website and started with the free stuff.
Of course. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I worked on that. And then the other thing that I knew that I wanted is like, okay, well, if someone is going to donate, like I want them to have that tax write-off or the benefit of that. And I was not ready at that time to like do all the 501c.
Oh my gosh.
Like on my, the funny thing is like, I did a lot of research and I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. I got through some of it and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Step back. I can't. So I did some other research and I was able to find a fiscal sponsor. And so they pretty much are like an umbrella organization that my nonprofit or organization was listed under theirs. And then any donations that came in still got that write-off. So like those were just a few of the things that I was like, okay, like those are the first steps that I took. And yeah, I think it made it like just the basics were there. And then over time, still little by little. And I think then it was through, I think one of the best things you could do is just share with people, talk about it. And because you never know who someone knows, what they know, like just different resources. And I think, again, over time, someone like I had a friend that's like, okay, I can help with the website, or like, let me do this, or like, I know all about this, or have you tried this? Or like, as my advisory boards like started to form, people were like, oh, I'll take care of that. I'll do that. And so it's like, okay. And so I think too, trusting that, there's other people, or like being able to talk with people and not being afraid to be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Help.
Well, yeah. And I think that someone like me who thinks that I have to do everything if it's something that I want to do isn't always true for something like that, where I think it would be almost impossible, especially since you're working a 9-to-5 job outside of this organization. It would be nearly impossible if you didn't ask for help. And I think that's a lot of our struggles too here, is like expecting that other people are expecting us to do it from start to finish. Whereas there are a lot of people who maybe can't donate financially, but want to help and give their time with something they're experienced with. And what better way to have them help out with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of your website, your photos are beautiful and amazing. And your video is also beautiful and amazing. Did a friend do that with you?
So that was a friend she was my roommate at the time. In 2017, that's when things started like really coming together. And the couple years before that, I was like, okay, God, like, am I supposed to go, like feeling like I have to do it all on my own? I'm like, I know my next step is to go back to Uganda, but like, am I just supposed to go by myself? Like, what good is that going to do? Like, I can't do it all.
Right.
And so I feel like it wasn't until 2017, that was when God's like, it's go time now. And then to see everything come together, like I had multiple people reach out within like a 1 to 2 month time span of like, hey, what's going on with the Mawanda Project? I want to get involved.
Wow.
And it was like, again, all at the same time. There were some friends at church. They had a nonprofit. So I had actually asked them like, hey, can I like meet with you and try and understand, like, I just need some insight. What have you guys done? Like, give me something. And so like, we started just like meeting together. And then my roommate was like, hey, like, I want to get more involved. And she was a photographer.
Yes.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. And then we knew the next step was like, we got to get back to Uganda, because at that point the school had started in 2015. It was 2017. Like, I hadn't been back since the school started to like see, you know, what does this like actually look like? And so my friend who was a photographer, I was still able to go, but we're like, okay, we need someone else. We wanted a male to go just for, you know, the safety aspect. So I called my brother, who's like always just been supportive of me. And I'm like, hey, how would you feel about going to Uganda? Would you want to go? And he was like, oh, give me a day or two to think about it. A couple days later, he's like, okay, yeah. When are we going? So we started planning the trip in March, and then we went that July.
Okay.
And so we kind of called that the founders trip. And it was like a perfect trip for me, because I had my friend Alyssa, photographer, documenting everything in photos.
Yes.
And then my brother, he's just like very good with logistics, documentation. So I felt like I could be present, talk to Pastor Dan, ask questions, understand. And I feel like I had photo documentation and written documentation as I just was like, got to be there and be present. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was like, I couldn't have asked for a better trip.
Awesome.
With
That's
that, like,
amazing.
founders trip. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to brothers, just in general. I have a brother too, who I know would do the exact same thing for me. And he's also very detail oriented. And so, yeah, honestly, thank God for brothers and friends too, creative friends, because I'm sure now you're looking back and you have like plenty of storytelling elements that are visual for the people here in the States. That I talked to Esta about this too, is it's like there's only so many words you can say to people about what your experience was before you have to start showing them. Yeah. And not everybody can go to Uganda. And so the more you can show them, the better the story will be. Yeah. Michelle, we've been talking a lot about how the Mawanda Project has helped to set up students for success by putting them through school with the help of friends and family here in the States. So what has it kind of meant to you to see that transition of students, like that small group of students that you started with, now to having it grow deeper into the community roots? Yeah, it blows my mind. I mean, we started with 15 students, $1,500. And today we're at over 180 students. We have 17 teachers and staff. And it's like a community is being impacted. Wow. It's like, it's just crazy. I feel like the thing I've seen the most is just God's faithfulness. And if like I'm seeing God's faithfulness, what about these children? Yeah. Like they are seeing God's faithfulness. They're seeing prayers being answered. They're getting food because of this project. It's wild. Yeah, it is wild. And actually a follow-up question about that. So is this a school where the Bible is taught in classes, or is it just kind of a non-religious school? It's Christian education is one of the classes for sure. Yeah. And because Pastor Dan, he's the director, he's our in-country director. He's the pastor of a local church. And so Christian principles throughout it, but anyone is welcome to the school. And then the other follow-up question to that is too, I know that we talked about kind of supporting those 15 students and now the over 100 students, but do some of these kids, are they able to afford any part of school, or are you kind of just helping with their entire tuition? For students that can pay, they will help with what they can. And some of that's like supplies. Okay. It is free education. So like, if you were to donate, we're providing teacher salaries, the food, all the supplies. But from the like staff side, it's if people have funds that can help with the school, they'll take them. We are working towards a sustainable model to where like if students can pay, yes, we want them to pay so that it is self-sustaining. Yeah. But in order to get there, there's still a lot of work to be done. In terms of like, we need like boarding school, dormitories and all of that. And so we aren't there yet to be able to have the
I guess, numbers of students.
Yeah.
The ones that could afford it could pay
Yeah.
for it. So yeah, I feel like we're still working on that piece, but I feel like the great thing is like it's free education, which they wouldn't be getting otherwise. Just like in comparison, it takes about $40K. That's our operational budget for the whole school. And so when we look at that in terms of like a single student's education in the US, like, yeah, it's a big, like, funds and money goes a long way there.